Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Discussion Today with your host Kriti Mishra. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on a two-day visit to Dhaka. During his visit, he attended the celebrations of the Golden Jubilee of the country's independence, the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and held talks with his counterpart, Sheikh Hasina. This was the historic visit to celebrate Mujib Borsho, the birth centenary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Bangladesh, and 50 years of Bangladesh's war of liberation. Prime Minister Modi visited Bangladesh on his first trip to a foreign country since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. And to analyze the Indo Bangladesh ties, I'm joined by Mr. Ashok Sajjanhar, former ambassador, and Major General Ashwani Kumar Siwach, retired strategic analyst. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, both of you.
Thank you.
Ambassador Sajjanhar, coming to you first. The big takeaways for you from Prime Minister's visit to Bangladesh.
The first big takeaway, Kriti, is that the Prime Minister chose Bangladesh to be the first country of his visit after about 17 months. The whole of last year, not very many world leaders visited other countries. The last visit of Prime Minister Modi was in November 2019 to Brazil for the BRIC summit. So this visit comes after 17 months, and we are still going through the COVID-19 pandemic. We are not through with the pandemic. So the fact that this is the first visit after 17 months, after about 500 days, this visit takes place during the pandemic. I think it sends out a very strong message and a very strong signal that Bangladesh is a very important and a very significant bilateral partner. And I think all his programs in Dhaka and all the other places that he visited, whether it was to Jashureshwari temple in Satkhira, whether he went to Orakandi, whether he went to Gopalganj, he went to, immediately after arriving, he went to the Savar War Memorial. Both the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Prime Minister Modi, they inaugurated the Bapu Bangabandhu exhibition. I think all of them were basically to take the relationship forward. I think what needs to be recognized here is that relations between the two countries have really improved significantly over the last many years. Since Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been in power since 2008, 2009, relations have followed an upward trajectory. And this trajectory has been especially marked since 2000 when Prime Minister Modi assumed power in Delhi. So 2 or 3 things. One is as far as connectivity is concerned.
Yes.
I think connectivity and infrastructure have really taken the center stage as far as bilateral ties are concerned. And notwithstanding the fact that, COVID-19, maybe in terms of activities, there has been somewhat reduced. But as far as bilateral ties between India and Bangladesh are concerned, they have had no adverse impact whatsoever. You would recall that both the leaders had a virtual summit on the 17th of December 2020. That was just one day after the celebrations of Victory Day. There was also a virtual summit on 17th of March 2020, because that was the start of the Mujib Borsho, the one-year celebrations of the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. There was the visit of External Affairs Minister to Dhaka in early this month. The Foreign Secretary visited Dhaka twice last year. So the point I'm making is that there has been no let up as far as bilateral interactions is concerned, either physical or virtual. And connectivity has been a very important element. In addition to that, in terms of commercial ties, it has been a very significant forward movement. This has, as you mentioned, the visit came on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the independence of Bangladesh, 50th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations, and also celebration of Mujib Borsho. The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to present the Gandhi Peace Prize to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and to her sister Sheikh Rehana for Sheikh Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The Gandhi Peace Prize for 2020 has been awarded to him. So I think overall it was a multifaceted visit, as External Affairs Jaishankar says, that our relationship with Bangladesh is a 360-degree relationship. That means no area of human endeavor or activity is left untouched. And I think the Prime Minister was able to do just that during his visit, to take forward our engagement on all fronts. Kriti.
Absolutely, sir. You made a very important point saying that there is no let-up in the bilateral interactions, whether physical or virtual. Let me take that to Major General Siwach. Sir, what are the two countries going to gain from this historic visit, according to you?
Pretty, no doubt about it. Both the countries stand to gain tremendously. It is a win-win situation for both of them. Remember that as far as India is concerned, Bangladesh is a very important partner. He is a very important partner for our Act East policy, also neighborhood first. Today, Nepal and Bhutan, then Bangladesh, these three countries are become very close to India. And especially Bangladesh, after Sheikh Hasina has come into power in 2008, our relation has been always upswing. And now India is the biggest and the largest trade partner of Bangladesh and vice versa. Today, you know, the rail connectivity which was disconnected in 1965 has been also restored. The last one which was done was the sixth one, in fact, was Chilahati Haldibari. So the connectivity has now improved tremendously between India and Bangladesh. Remember that India and rest of the, you can say rest of India and Northeast have to go through the Siliguri corridor. It is a circuitous route. If we can get the connectivity through Bangladesh, whether it is road, rail or the waterways, the distance is reduced to almost 1/3 to almost half. And in case if this connectivity is there, you will find a development taking place in our Northeast. And the trade will be there between Northeast and also between Bangladesh. Remember that in this beginning of this month only, Friendship Maitri Bridge was also inaugurated on Feni River. That is connecting our basically sub-room in Tripura to Ramgarh in Bangladesh. Due to which what has happened is Agartala has become the closest to Chittagong port. It is approximately 80 kilometers. So India can make use of Chittagong port and Mongla port. So as of today, the connectivity and the trade relation between India and Bangladesh are growing, and it will be beneficial to both the countries. It is a win-win situation. Remember that the type of trade when they do with India, it is a duty-free. So today, Bangladesh is, as it is a success story, because it is the fastest growing economy in South Asia. In fact, much faster than even India. Its garment industry is doing extremely well. Almost 80% of its export is of the garment industry. Second thing is that India can learn 3-4 things from Bangladesh, which we are trying our best. One is rural banking, rural health scheme, then is your macro financing, and then is your garments industry, which is doing very well in Bangladesh. We need to catch up that. In case both the countries basically collaborate on that, both will gain tremendously on trade point of view. The other issue which is there is between India and Bangladesh is our connectivity of trilateral highway which is going on, connecting India with Myanmar to Thailand, then finally it will go to Cambodia and Laos. Now, Bangladesh has also shown a lot of interest to become a partner to that. This will be also beneficial to Bangladesh and also both to India. You know, remember Bangladesh and India are part of BIMSTEC and BBIN. That BIMSTEC is basically a Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation, where there 7 countries are there, and it is a very important partner, including your Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, Thailand, and Sri Lanka. So we stand to gain from that. We also stand to gain from BBIN. What has happened is that that agreement of vehicle agreement signed in 2015 is paying India and Bangladesh. Our trade can move, our cargo can move, our passengers can move between each other country. So overall, it is looking like that the relationship are improving every year, and after Sheikh Hasina has come, it is upswing. Remember, this vaccine diplomacy has been a game changer. You know that India has now given vaccine to its neighbors, and most of that is even free of cost. And one of them is Bangladesh, where it was given approximately 20 lakhs, and now 12 lakhs has been taken by the Prime Minister with him. So the question today is, this vaccine diplomacy has won the heart and mind of the people of Bangladesh, because India, you know, has got its own problem. Yet we are able to give this crucial vaccine to our neighbors and also to other countries. This will also make a tremendous impact psychological on that.
So right, sir, you made a very important point like about vaccine diplomacy, and I'd like to take that to Ambassador Sajjanhar. Sir, I'd like to quote here the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Mr. Abdul Momin, and he says, India provided 2 million vaccines as a gift, and PM Modi on the 50th anniversary of Bangladesh and 100th anniversary of the father of our nation, India is giving another 1.2 million vaccines as a gift. They have assured the contract will be met on time. We would like to buy more, unquote. Sir, your analysis of India's COVID-19 or the vaccine diplomacy in Bangladesh.
Thank you, Kriti. I think this is a very important point that you have made, and the quotation from the Bangladesh foreign minister. You know, I would be a little hesitant to term it as vaccine diplomacy as such, because we have termed it as vaccine maitri. You know, this is friendship vaccine, because we are supplying this vaccine, whether, you know, India started its own vaccination program on the 16th of January this year, as your listeners would know. And on the 21st of January, we had supplied 20 lakh doses to Bangladesh, 15 lakh doses to Nepal, and before that to Bhutan and also to Maldives. So I think first starting with the neighbors, but then going out also to other countries also. You know, we went to the Pacific Island states, we went to CARICOM states, we went to African countries, etc. I think the developing countries, those who did not possibly have the wherewithal, we reached out to them, because you would recall that speaking at the UN General Assembly session in a virtual format last September, Prime Minister Modi had made this commitment to the UN, to the world body, that when the vaccine comes to India, it will be used not only for Indian citizens, for Indian people, but it will be for the whole humanity. It will be for the whole mankind. And you know, this is the ideology of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam that Prime Minister Modi has been espousing for a long time. You would also recall that when Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla had gone to Bangladesh, he had also told the leadership there that as soon as India gets the vaccine, it will first come to, it will at the same time come to Bangladesh also. And I think this has what really touched the people of Bangladesh and the leadership of Bangladesh, that while India has, you know, as General Siwach very correctly mentioned, that India has its own challenges. We have to vaccinate 1.3 billion people in our country, and it is a slow, steady, arduous process. But that notwithstanding, within 5 days of our own vaccination program starting, we have sent it out to Bangladesh, 20 lakh doses. And if you were to compare this with the attitude and the behavior of a large number of other countries, Kriti, many developed countries, for instance, there was a spat between United States and Canada. United States would not send out its vaccines to Canada. Canada had called Prime Minister Modi, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, to get vaccines from here. and even between the United Kingdom and Europe, Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen. There has been this pact going on. They will not allow vaccines to be exported. They will not allow vaccines to be exported from Italy to Australia. The point I'm making is throughout the world, there has been a tendency, what is known as vaccine nationalism.
True.
That means I've got the vaccine, I must hoard them, I must store them. Not India. India has gone out of its way to provide these vaccines to all needy countries in the world, while of course making sure that our own people are adequately taken care of, and going forward that our production, now we have 2 vaccines, very soon, as the Prime Minister has said in one of his addresses, we'll be getting a 3rd, possibly we'll get a 4th vaccine. So I think we'll be able to meet our requirements and also meet the requirements of the world, directly supplying to the countries, as also through the COVAX of the WHO, COVAX initiative of the WHO. So countries like Pakistan, which don't want to ask request for vaccines from India, they are getting indirectly through the COVAX mechanism. Kriti.
Absolutely, sir. As you said, that vaccine Maitri is touching the hearts of countries across the globe. And of course, this also reflects on our neighborhood first policy. But talking about defense ties, Major General Siwach, how do we further enhance our defense and security cooperation?
Absolutely correct. You see, Priti, no doubt about it. After Sheikh Hasina has come into power, she has been very much concerned about the security challenges which are there in India. Remember before she had taken over in 2008, that there were number of camps which was of the militants which were there in Chittagong Hill. And after she taken over, those camps were wounded up and they moved out from there. Majority of them either surrendered or they were eliminated. They moved to Myanmar. So first foremost thing, what Sheikh Hasina has done is she is really interested in maintaining a very good relation with India. And they knew it that, in fact, today the peace in Northeast is prevailing. Kind courtesy Sheikh Hasina, because they have not allowed any camps to operate from Bangladesh soil, especially from Chittagong, which was continuing before she had taken over for last about 20 to 30 years. That is the important point which is there. Second thing is that military to military contacts are now growing up. Remember that both these Mukti Bahini and Indian Army had fought together against the Pakistan Army for the freedom of Bangladesh. But unfortunately, after father of the nation, Mujibur Rahman, was assassinated on 15th August 1975, there was a drop in the relationship between India and Bangladesh, and it continued quite a bit, almost up till the beginning of this century. It is only in the Sheikh Hasina time when the relationship are now looking up, and we are making use of it. So, between our military to military, there are a number of issues which are taking place. There are a number of exercises which are taking place. Now, Bangladesh has shown a lot of interest in purchasing certain weapons from India, whether it is Tejas, the Bangladesh chief of the Air Force has also flown on Tejas in Bangalore very recently. They have shown that interest. We are ready to now give them even tanks. We are ready to give them artillery guns. We are ready to give them even assault rifle. And with the interest has been shown by the Bangladesh government, I suppose this will materialize. Second thing is we are now doing exercise together. Now, there is a bit of concern also in this. I must point out that because the way the China is coming in Bangladesh and the way Bangladesh is a sovereign country, is free to take a weapon system even from China. But this is a red line. They have taken a submarine from China. They have also taken many other weapon systems. And also they are part of basically road belt initiative, and a lot of infrastructure development and a lot of money has flown in from China. That is our cause of concern. China very close to our border is a slightly a red line. And remember, we have also told Bangladesh what happened to Sri Lanka in Hamantota, what happened to Maldives, what happened to Malaysia and happened to Pakistan. You should not get into that trap. I suppose that that is understood by the present government of Bangladesh. So that is where the concern is there. China is coming in a very big way in Bangladesh, in addition to other countries like Myanmar. Remember that China has encircled India by having these ports like Kuakapu in Myanmar, Chittagong in Bangladesh, Hambantota in Sri Lanka,
Yes.
then one of the island in Maldives, Djibouti in East Africa, and thereafter Gwadar. And Chittagong was once upon a time being dwelled by China quite a bit. Now, possibly there is a sort of a stop which has been put by Bangladesh government. So this is one important issue between India and Bangladesh.
All right, sir,
Another
let me
two,
take
three
that to
more
Ambassador.
issues are there.
Ambassador Sajjanhar, as Major General Siwach is pointing out, what is your take on China's expansion in Bangladesh and concerns of India?
Well, I think Bangladesh is quite conscious of India's concerns, and they respect India's concerns. And I think in more ways than one, on more occasions than one, at more levels than one, Bangladesh has sought to assuage Indians' concerns and sought to tell India that nothing will be done by Bangladesh which will in any way be harmful to India's strategic interests. Even as far as, what General Siwach was saying about Bangladesh being a part of the Belt and Road Initiative of China and also taking major infrastructure projects being financed and funded in Bangladesh. You would have seen the interview of Dr. Gohar Rizvi, the Foreign Affairs Advisor to Bangladesh Prime Minister, and he said that we are very conscientious, we are very vigilant, we are knowledgeable, we are aware of what China has done in Hambantota. And please be rest assured that we are not going to let ourselves be, come under such circumstances that we owe huge sums of money and we fall into a debt trap. We are not going to let that happen. And they have said also that there is no country which in any way can replace India's position as far as Bangladesh is concerned, because India is like a blood brother to them. This is, in terms of history, in terms of culture, in terms of civilization, in terms of language. Our relations go back to several centuries, if not millennia, of the people. And I think China might try its very best, but I think we have very many strengths as far as our relationship and partnership with Bangladesh is concerned. We are using all that, as has been mentioned. As far as connectivity is concerned, we have, whether it is waterways, whether it is roads, now the connectivity from Chittagong and Mongla ports to northeast, which is again mutual benefit for both sides. I think the relationship today between India and Bangladesh is based on mutual respect, mutual trust, and mutual benefit. So I think both sides realize it. That is why there is a great determination and energy as far as the relationship is concerned. We have the connection, the connectivity from Chittagong, Mongla to Agartala to the northeast is going to be very beneficial.
Absolutely,
to
sir.
the
As you said, that there is
also
great determination and bigger energy in the relationship. Major General Siwach, can the present status of New Delhi and Dhaka relationship influence the greater understanding of South Asia on ways to achieve peace, stability, and development in the region?
Absolutely, Kriti, no doubt about it. See, India and Bangladesh are both the democratic countries, secular nations. And these are a successful story where, by and large, even in Bangladesh, democracy functioned for last about 12 to 15 years. So the issue today is the SARC has become slightly, you can say, a dead wood, because after what is the attitude of Pakistan. Now, as far as BIMSTEC is concerned, BBIN is concerned, also our Look East policy as well as Act East policy, neighborhood first. And see, Bangladesh is fitting in very well. In fact, once it become a part of this trilateral highway also, then it will be a co-partner with India in ensuring that we can make use of this corridor for going toward the Asian country. So overall, to me, it looks like that the Bangladesh is our partner in development, and we both stand to gain if we cooperate and coordinate. And the 2-3 issues which are coming is that in case we are also giving hydropower to Bangladesh, in case our connectivity improved between Bangladesh and India, what will happen? The trade will take place between Bangladesh and most of the northeast states. It will be a win-win situation for both of them. And this, the concern which was there, the infiltration, illegal migrants which have been coming due to porous border will also not be there, because if the development take place in Bangladesh, which is taking place, remember Bangladesh is the least developed country, but by 2026 it will be a developing country, right, because its economy is growing very fast and it is growing faster than any other country of South Asia. So the point is, when the connectivity between Bangladesh and India improves, then you find that the both country will prosper, and this claim that there are Bangladeshi which are trying to come as illegal migrants will not be there, because there will be no requirement. Bangladesh will offer them enough opportunity. In fact, the way Bangladesh is going off, people are talking about reverse migration. So that is what it is in case the development take place in both the countries. Our 2-3 concerns which we have already conveyed. One is that Muslim fundamentalist and the terrorism, like ISI has got a very good foothold in Bangladesh, and yes, Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh. This has been already told, and both the countries are working together to fight against that terrorism. This is very much known by Sheikh Hasina. That's a very important thing which we have to fight. The another is the Rohingya issue. Rohingya issue, we have to collectively fight it. Remember, Bangladesh is one country which has allowed about 10 lakhs Rohingyas which have come from Rakhine province of Myanmar, yes, and they are today in Cox's Bazar and one of the islands which has been dwelled by Bangladesh. It is a matter of pride to say no other country could have kept so many refugees with it. So having said so, India is providing all material support, all facility to government of Bangladesh, and we are trying to get it resolved that these Rohingyas can go back to Rakhine province of Myanmar after discussing with the government of Myanmar, because India has got good relation with Myanmar, also Bangladesh. But our cause of concern is, if the Rohingyas stay for too long in Cox's Bazar, there is a chance of they trying to come even in India. So the infiltration of Rohingyas is a cause of concern, and also the Rohingyas should be sent back to Myanmar, and government of Myanmar should take them back. That is also a challenge between us and Bangladesh.
All right, sir. So those are very important points that you highlighted. Of course, these concerns have to be addressed from both sides for, of course, taking the relationship forward. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. So India and Bangladesh share bonds of history, language, culture, and multitude of other commonalities. The excellent bilateral ties reflect an all-encompassing partnership based on sovereignty, equality, trust, and understanding that goes far beyond a strategic partnership. That's all we had for you in this edition of Discussion today. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.